Alrighty then, everyone. It is Dokkan time again. And today, we will be going over the Extreme Z Awakening for AGL Pikkon. So, Paikuhan, ironically, has still been getting quite a bit of use in the last couple of years, mostly because he's got a nice little gimmick active that gives you basically a free Ghost Usher. He's gotten an EZA, and honestly, I don't think he changed at all. I think that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with necessarily just pumping up his numbers, you know, make it so he can be used in more different, diverse content. But at the same time, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, you know. I feel like they could have done a lot to add to him, but unlike a lot of EZAs, I'm pretty confident that if you built this guy full dodge or full additional, you did it right, because there was no other route to go here on that. If that's all you wanted to hear in the video, then by all means, carry on. Appreciate you watching up to even this point. But if you want to, you know, go along with me, learn what the unit does, see what your options are as far as, you know, rolls, defense, and all that other jazz. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Let's get into it. So, we are going to go ahead and start off with the breakdown of the unit. He's pretty simple, I'm not going to lie. We'll go down the breakdown. I'm going to go over his 200% leaders real quick, though. He doesn't have a lot. He does not have a lot. He does have the new STR Cell. Cell is definitely his best 220 lead. And then after that, I mean, honestly, there's no good picks here. Not with the current meta anyways. As much as I love the Orange Piccolo, he's aged quite a bit. I honestly haven't tried to use him in current level content, but I'm honestly a little bit afraid to. And as far as every other unit on here, like these teams are all just past their prime in my personal opinion. You could argue a placement on Gogeta's team as far as a 200% option goes. I just feel like Movie Heroes is still a little bit, you know, one brain, one centered team. And I don't really feel like Pikkon does anything else other than bring his gimmick to the table for even that team. We'll go ahead and take a look at his leader skill. So he does get his leader skill buffed a little bit. He is now a 180 connected hope leader instead of a 170. And then he gives superclass allies Ki +3 and HP attack and defense 130%. So, I mean, sure, that's a nice little leader skill that you could be adding to, like, I don't know, Battlefield or Ultimate Clash or something, but otherwise that's pretty much an outdated leader skill at this point. I'll be real frank with everybody here. If you are rocking a less than a 200% team on current level post 10th anniversary content, you're gonna be struggling. And although you could challenge yourself, I'm talking to you, Darklink. You can definitely challenge yourself. I just wouldn't suggest it. As of right now, I don't think Connected Hope is doing too well. There is no hope for Connected Hope, in my opinion. No, I'm kidding. That was a terrible joke anyways. So his super attack has changed a little bit, and it's greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, and then he greatly lowers enemies' attack. And then he does still have his unit super with Gogeta, or basically any Angel, Goku, or Vegeta unit, which will still be greatly raise attack and defense and greatly lower attack, except now he will actually be receiving attacks effective against all types. Now, normally I would say this is an amazing add-on to a unit super attack, even through a unit super, but unfortunately Pikkon damage is just so horrendously low that it kind of makes this moot. Like, there's just, like, it's nice, but it's irrelevant. It's nice, but it's irrelevant. Take it as you will. Either way, I don't feel like his super attack really changes almost at all. Going into his passive, he does get attack and defense of 200%. He has a 50% chance to dodge. He gives superclass allies Ki +2 and attack and defense of 30%. So basically, not much has changed there. For 7 turns from his entry turn, he does get an extra 200% defense and guard. When he collects 3 or more of any type E-Sphere specifically, Otherworld Warriors and Connected Hope category allies get an additional attack and defense of 60%. I do think this is nice. There is quite a few Connected Hope units, and we have been getting a couple more Otherworld Warriors, so I do feel like he's definitely going to get plenty of use in the future, Especially if we get any of these two category kind of missions, he will be basically a staple for anything like that's gimmicky wise. He also gets in the launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack with those 3 or more key spheres. So he does have quite a bit locked behind 3 key spheres, but it's 3 key spheres, you know, you already were aiming for that before. Then when you receive 1 or more rainbow key spheres, he will get key plus 4. He then has a chance of evading enemies' attack plus 20%, and he seals the attacked enemy super attack for 2 turns. And when he's attacking with 12 or more key, he gets another attack and defense of 200%. Now, you would think with all of these extra increases of 200, 200, 200, that his defense would be really rocking. And it is. It's rocking pretty nice for those first 7 turns. It's not terrible. He's still not tanking 6 million supers. He still is very much dodge or die on super attacks, but he will be tanking normals. Even if you get past the 7 turns, I do feel like he should be okay enough to be tanking most you know, kind of mid-range kind of normals. You know, we are getting normals now that are like 1 mil, 1.5, 2 million, you know. So those are situations that he still will be fine normal-wise, but otherwise he does need to dodge. The good news is that he does have 70% built-in dodge. So, you know, with 70% built-in dodge, so long as he's actually grabbing a rainbow key sphere, I do feel like he is sitting in a very nice spot as a dodge support unit, which is perfectly fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That was already his thing. Is like he was already a dodge tank, not tank, but a dodge support unit. So his overall placement, his role on the team has not changed. He still has his active skill. They didn't change anything on the active skill. You still have to be facing one enemy whose HP is 50% or more, and starting from the 4th turn, and then you can delay the enemy's attack for 1 turn. So he still has that Ghost Shuster ability. And I think that's the majority of the reason people will be utilizing him. His links did not change: Supreme Warrior, Gentleman, Experience Fires, Shocking Speed, Cold Judgment, Otherworld Wars, and Fierce Battle. And he is only on 3, 6, 7, 8 categories in total. Unfortunately, I feel like Connected Hope could use more hope. And then Movie Heroes is still good, but I don't feel like Pikkon really has much of a place on it. Worthy Rivals is honestly DOA. And Otherworld Warriors is just randomly getting nice little buffs here and there, but they don't really synergize too well with each other. Saviors is okay. Battle of Wits is good. Storied Figures could be better, and Tournament Participants just got a couple buffs, but unfortunately isn't that great still. So, or at least doesn't work well together, especially with the new leader. So there is one thing that's probably going to be glaring on the screen on the right side of the screen. I don't give Pikkon any partners, and the reason I don't give him any partners is because you're not using him for a partner, you're not using him for damage, he doesn't rely on his links for defense, and overall, I mean, honestly, his link partner is a little bit irrelevant. I'd say the most thing you should be looking for is a Shocking Speed, get it going off. As long as you get a little bit of, you know, links for key, I think you should be fine with him. Either way, he's basically getting floated every single turn, no matter what. His only real perfect partner is this Nail. Unfortunately, Nail's kit actually is counter the opposite of what Pikkon is, so there's no reason to keep them both on rotation. Not to mention they only share one team, which is Connected Hope, so you'd have to run under Pikkon's lead to even really utilize Nail, which is just not really going to happen. And honestly, after that, he just doesn't really link with anyone. Like, majority of the units in here are all kind of dead. Or will not be getting any type of revive. You know, as usual, you can try and link them up with the Goku Vegeta, but honestly, that's on a more, you know, floating basis. There's no reason to keep Pikkon on rotation, is what I'm trying to imply here. Unless you're just desperate for wanking your units with support, I don't really see a reason to keep him on rotation. So, with that all being said, let's just kind of go take a peek at his defense. Alright, so compliments to Halvard over there on the Twitter X website. So, I mean, he's sitting okay, honestly. You know, for the first 7 turns with 40% support, and he magically gets a triple super, he can get up to 3.7 million defense with guard. That's not too bad. You know, he can tank around probably about a 4.5, almost 5 million super, and you almost die. But, you know, on a 250 team, I think you could live. I really do. I think you would have enough HP to be living close to a 5 million super almost. But you do have to have that guard up, and if you do go past the point of 7 turns, you don't get a triple super. You only get like maybe 2. You know, you do get your 3 key spheres. You know, less than 2 million defense without guard is really bad. It's really bad at that point. I know it's really hard for people to understand that, you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million defense isn't really that impressive in this age of Dokkan, but I would say he's safe on normals, which is good. You know, that's what we want. We want him to be safe on normals, and he is. He is safe on normals, but otherwise, he does need to dodge. Or he will get you killed. Because he's not tanking any supers, especially not after 7 turns have elapsed. So I'm sorry, festival enjoyers, but you will not be adding this unit to the pool. Otherwise, I'm not disappointed by his defense. I'm not disappointed by his kit. I think it's about on par what we were expecting for him. Did we want more? Could we have got more? Yes. Did we? No. Is what it is, though. So, anyways, let's just go ahead and just get into the breakdown of the unit. Apologies, OBS updated and it changed some settings and it's throwing me off really hard. Okay, so for a 55% build, I will have to go ahead and tell you that, you know, he's just only going to have his, he's an AGL type, so he starts off with the level 5 additional. Remember, minimum is just without equipment. That's what I put in here. I put whatever is right here without equipment. In the case of Paikuhan, just give him dodge. Like, literally, that's all that there is to give him. There's no reason to buff him up with additionals. The additionals aren't going to do you any good. They're really not. He's still pretty much dodge or die. He's still tanking normals, so long as it's post-super. So I don't see much of a reason to give him additionals. You should just straight up give him dodge. And his damage is so low that it's literally irrelevant to be even thinking about giving him anything other than dodge. His damage is just too low. It's just too low to care about crit. Critical is irrelevant, so it should be fine. So with one dupe, you'll want to just aim for the dodge. With one dupe on the bottom right, you can give him 3, 6, 9 points in the hidden potential to whatever you so wish. The remainder, I would suggest you just put the rest into additional. So his level 5 would turn into a level 8 additional, and then you would have that level 9 dodge. Once you get one more dupe, you can actually finally use the gold equipment, which let's move on to that one. Alright, and with two dupes, we're going to go ahead and just give him full dodge. With 2 dupes, you should be able to get up to a level 15 dodge and the hidden potential without equipment. And then you'll be ending up putting the rest of all your nodes into additional, which will give him a level 11. So, gold, silver, even the bronze, yes, even the bronze, needs to just go ahead and be all dodge. Now, you know, at one point in time, I probably could have told you, you could have gave him HP, you could have gave him defense, you could have gave him, yeah, defense or HP. It's one of those two. One of those two would be fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's like, he actually has a pretty impressive HP stat and defense stat. I don't think it goes too high or too low. You know, he has actually like 21,000 HP. He's got 20,000 attack. He's got 14,000 defense. I think the defense could be higher if you really wanted it to. But not being a stacker, not having damage reduction or guard, you know, it just kind of limits him a little bit here and there. So, but otherwise, I think that's, I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it for him as far as his build goes. There is no other build in my personal opinion. If you chose to build him some other way, please do let me know. These are just my suggestions. And as far as the roll tips go, I'm really sorry. But he does not require a partner. He has no partner. There's no reason to give him a partner. It doesn't help him. It doesn't help the team to even keep him on rotation. He's basically just a floating support unit that has a Ghost Usher effect whenever you can try and use it at your best convenience. Otherwise, the only 2 leaders I could find in the current meta that he would be relevantly a part of, would just be Glorio and Cell. Otherwise, he doesn't really have a place on any other teams, and most of his other categories are just kind of non-existent at the given moment in the game's current meta as of April of 2025. So. But otherwise, I think that's going to be it. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for the video. I really don't like the way OBS decided to... yeah, I really don't like how OBS like changed my settings here. Anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please go ahead and let me know what teams you're gonna try and rock him on. You know, what partners are you gonna use him with, and just comment below. Let me know if there's any units I'm missing. And thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.